Hey guys, I'm starting to realize quickly that my backdrop's probably not going to be very common. I tend to do these videos, I guess, wherever I'm at when inspiration hits. Last night I watched uh, the basically what it was the church in California taking a stand and deciding that they're not going to follow these restrictions that seem to only affect people that aren't already uber rich, like the Walton family from Walmart, the airlines, the Amazons of the world, um, Bill Gates, and things that continue to bring them all the money in the world. From what I've heard, Bill Gates, since this thing kicked off, is $21 billion richer. Um, Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon, is over $60 billion richer. As all these small businesses, um, a lot of them are never going to open their doors again. So, what is this whole thing really about? I don't think it's about the safety or health of anybody. I think it's about a practice run to close the churches at a time when suicides are through the roof, domestic abuse is just off the charts, and people are losing everything they have. A lot of people have lost their jobs, which in turn will cost them their vehicles, their house, and many other things. But I think that a lot of this was a practice run to see if the church will go quietly uh, into the night, so to speak. So last night was the closing of a tent crusade that Mario Murillo did, and um, they had run that all throughout last week, and then last night, well, they made the Friday night at the last tent um, meeting. They made the announcement that they were doing one more night, and they were going to do it at the, I don't remember the name of the theater, but it was a huge church event. And if you don't know, California is one of the most restricted places in the country, maybe the world. But so they did they got together and basically challenged uh, the government, which, it's in the First Amendment, the right to uh, ba- basically, I don't have have it in front of me, and I'm on video, whatever. So basically, that they can't. Uh, uh, Sorry, they can't restrict the churches and the meeting of churches. So they took a stand last night, and they're they're done. They're done with it. They challenged all the churches to open up. There's a lot of pastors and Christians that think that that's irresponsible. But when you look at the the science of your own eyes, when you look at the lack of death around you, um, the numbers are astronomical because of the testing, but the testing is admittedly 81% false positive. the test that they use was not designed for corona. I shouldn't have said that. This, what they're using it for. Anyway, so I just want to say that I'm very proud of those guys for taking a stand. I support that 100%. And if I had a business or a church or whatever it was and didn't do what I do, I would not be closing it under any circumstances. And that's where I stand on it. I know people have different opinions. That's fine. The content that I'm sharing on this page is to encourage. It doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything, and that's fine. I'm open to discussion about that, but that is where I stand, and that's based off of my own perception, what I have seen or don't see, what I see every day working with people. I've worked with many people who have apparently had it, and I know many others who have apparently had it and said that there was nothing to it. They felt rough for 2 to 3 days tops and got over it and are back to living life. Sorry, as a jogger ran by. So I do want to share a story though, and I know I'm probably a little longer on time than I usually am, but this story is involves my friend Joy again. I shared the one about her sister-in-law last time. This one is about another lady that I believe she went to Life Springs with, which is a basically not so much a rehabilitation for physical, but women and children who've been in, who find themselves homeless or have been in, I can't think of the word, but like a transitional home or something like that. But I believe that this lady, and I don't remember her name, this was many years ago, she was in the hospital, and my friend Joy asked if I would go up there with her to pray for this woman. And there was this is what this whole thing reminded me of. I believe it was in the 90s or maybe early 2000s. There was a lady named Terri Schiavo who had some kind of head trauma, which ended up becoming like a traumatic brain injury. And she was fully alive, fully functioning. Her parents took care of her. The husband, basically what they did to her was I guess, late-term abortion would be the best way to put it. She was, I believe, in her 30s, and her parents said that they would take care of her. She wasn't a vegetable. She was very active and very lively and could communicate and everything. And the husband decided that he didn't want her to live anymore. The parents offered to allow her a divorce or allow him a divorce from her, and they would take care of her. And that wasn't good enough. And somehow, some way, some jackass judge decided that he could see the relevance of this letting her die, basically. So what happened was they ended up starving her. They wouldn't even allow her water or ice or anything. And she died horribly. They would not let the parents go in there. They restricted them. This is what this case seemed like with this lady, was that she wasn't given any food. She wasn't given any water. And you could see her lips and her tongue were very dry and dried out. And this is what it seemed like the case was with this lady. So anyway, we went up there and we prayed for her. We started by talking to her, and she thought that I was her brother many times. And I corrected her several times, and I was like, well, you know, if she ends up dying, what comfort am I giving her by, you know, arguing the point that I'm not her brother all this time? I didn't pretend to be. I didn't think that that was right, but to constantly correct her with something that actually brought her comfort. So I let her believe what she wanted to. We ended up praying for this lady, and as we left, you know, I was really sad because it reminded me of Terry Schiavo, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to change her circumstances, but we went up there and prayed for her. And I followed up with Joy, I believe it was a couple weeks later, and I expected she was probably had died. And so I reached out to Joy and I said, whatever happened with that girl from Life Springs that we prayed for? And she says, oh, she ended up getting better, and she went home like 2 days later. And I was like, what? It totally freaked me out. But that was another person on the verge of death that not within my sight. I didn't see it happen. I just expected that she was going to die, but she apparently went on to live, and her mind cleared up, or whatever was going on with her, and she's apparently living life now. I don't know that Joy even has contact with her at this point, but shortly thereafter was aware that everything had turned out all right. So another cool, encouraging story. I hope to share many more with you. I know I need to get on uploading some content so you guys actually have something to watch. And hopefully it encourages you. Everything that I'm doing right now is to encourage you to do the things that I do in these stories. These are meant to be encouraging. Yesterday morning at church, I had a passage come to mind before service, and it was really interesting because the service was just made it that more noticeably God inspired for the word. But the word was, I think it was Mark 16:17 through 18, and it says basically, these signs will follow those that believe. And the point that was to be made is that these signs won't follow those that believe that have a degree, or those that believe that became a pastor, or those that believe that have some high prophetic calling or anything like that. It was those that believe, period. And that's for literally anybody watching this that is that has accepted Jesus. And it says that they will cast out demons, that they will be able to handle serpents, and to drink poison and not die. Now, I don't suggest that you do either of those things intentionally, but like Paul had a snake latch onto his arm, and he shook it off, and it was a poisonous snake, and didn't react to it, just shook it off into the fire, and went on about his day. So those things said, the other thing would be that they would lay hands on the sick and that they would recover. And that is supposed to be common everyday stuff for the Christian. And we see it so little now that we have a hard time even believing that it exists. And that's supposed to be us every day. So I do want to encourage you, lay hands on the sick, pray for the sick. I have probably 150, 200 more stories of things just like that I want to encourage you with. And I want to see the world change. I want to see the church functioning as the church. I want to see the sick healed. I want to see the dead raised. I want to see the demons cast out, and whatever hell has to bring against us, I want to see it fail miserably. So until next time, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.